let's get ready to begin. I like to start every practice with what I call coming to your mat. So if it feels comfortable to do so, I want to invite you to go ahead and lay down. Right before you do that, if you want to hit play on your Spotify playlist, that would be wonderful. We have a great song tonight. And whenever you're ready, if it feels comfortable for you to do so, I want to invite you to go ahead and close your eyes. And we're going to begin just by noticing our natural breath. The sensation of breathing in and breathing out. And acknowledging any distractions you may be experiencing right now. Perhaps there are sounds outside of this room, perhaps they're inside of the room, perhaps they're inside of your head. Whatever they may be, just acknowledging them one by one and gently placing each one off of your mat. Making yourself a priority. And giving yourself permission to be fully present. Noticing where the breath lands as you breathe in. Allowing the body to fully exhale. On the next breath in, I want you to send the breath upwards towards the skull. And perhaps beginning to draw your attention to the space behind your eyelids. Allowing the jaw to soften. On your next exhale, allowing the face to soften completely, releasing tension. Continuing to breathe, and on your next exhale, perhaps allowing the shoulders to melt. And drawing your attention back to the heart space. Feeling your heart lift as you breathe in. And relax as you breathe out. Allowing the next inhale to descend towards the belly. Each breath in travels a little further into the abdomen, allowing the belly to become a little bit more full, a little bit more round. Allowing the exhale to travel back up and out as you continue to breathe. Drawing your attention to the weight of the arms, the weight of the bones, allowing the arms to feel heavy, top of the arms, forearms, hand and palm, and becoming aware of the fingers. Becoming aware of the weight of the torso as you exhale, feeling the back of the ribs press a little closer into the earth. Becoming aware of the waist, the hips, the thighs, the knees, the calves, the shins, top of the foot, the heel, and the toes. Next breath out, all of the body, all of those heavy bones. Just press a little deeper into your mat. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice, I want to invite you to do so now. When you're ready, let's roll over to your side, coming to a fetal position. We'll be here for just a few breaths. When you're ready, pressing your palm on the earth as you exhale, rising up, coming to a seated position. And once you get to your seated position, let's go ahead and bend the knees and have the soles of the feet on the earth. We're going to begin in our seated butterfly pose. Taking an inhale, on your exhale, allowing the soles of the feet to come together. Knees fall off to the sides. If you'd like to use some blocks under your knees for some extra support so you don't have to think about this pose, please feel free to place them there now. When you're ready, let's go ahead and bring the shoulder blades together. Allow the crown of the head to lift towards the sky, just arriving in our butterfly pose. Taking another breath in. And on your exhale, allowing the chin to melt towards the chest. We're finding a stretch along the back of the neck here. And either staying here or perhaps the head becomes a little bit heavier, deepening that stretch. If you'd like to rock the chin towards the right and the left, please feel free to do so, pausing where you need to pause and moving away from anything you need to move away from. Next time, chin comes back to neutral. Let's go ahead once again, lift the chin away from the chest. As you exhale, let's bring the left ear towards the left shoulder. Not trying to make a connection, just stretching the right side of the neck. And go into a space where you start to feel sensation and then just backing off. That space where we feel sensation is called our edge. And in our yin practice, every posture that we go to, we want to come to the edge and then we just want to back off. Our natural breath will allow us to go a little bit deeper in just a little bit of time. On the next exhale, perhaps that ear comes a little bit closer towards the shoulder, maybe not. When you're ready on your inhale, bringing that ear back up. Head is at a neutral position. On your next exhale, right ear towards right shoulder. Next exhale, maybe the ear moves a little bit closer. Some of you know, let's go ahead and bring that head back up. From here, we're just going to start to make some no movements, moving the chin and the face towards the right and towards the left. Some of you know I have chickens and kittens and dogs, and I can hear my dogs right now. I've been hoping that they're going to be quiet, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to quote a 90s movie, and you're going to tell me if you know what the quote is. I'm going to expect the best. That's my joke today. From here, let's go ahead. Take an inhale, finding some stillness. On your exhale, let's go ahead and just start to fold forward. Allowing those hands to come maybe towards the top of the toes. And we want the upper body just to be soft here. We're not trying to hold any perfect posture. Instead, what we're doing is we're allowing our body and our natural body weight just to bring some compression to those hip joints. On your next exhale, perhaps you fold a little bit further. Your practice is perfect no matter what it looks like. And when I invite you to go a little bit further, it's a suggestion. It's not mandatory. When you're ready, we're going to gradually begin to come back up. From here, let's bring our hands behind the body. Bring the soles of the feet back to the earth. And just windshield wiper the knees back and forth. When you're ready, finding some stillness, we're going to set up for our shoelace pose. Let's go ahead and extend the legs long. And from here, maybe just pointing and flexing the toes, maybe making some circles with the ankles, anything that feels good for you in your practice. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead. We're going to bend that left knee first. And we're going to cross that left heel and bring it towards the right hip. Now, the goal here is not to look just like me or like what you think this pose is supposed to look like. The goal is to do what feels best for your body. So maybe your knee is stacked over the other knee. Maybe it's not. Maybe that foot is closer to the front of the mat and you want to use a block to support this left thigh, this left knee. Please feel free to do that. Please explore that option. You're either going to stay here because this is enough. Otherwise, you're going to bend the right knee and bring the right heel towards the left hip. Just making any adjustments here that you need to. From here, let's go ahead and bring the arms out in front of us. We're going to bring the left fingers up towards the sky. We're going to take the right hand and just gently press that palm, those fingers towards the left forearm, towards your left shoulder. What we're doing is we're targeting the forearms here. So if you have any issues with maybe tennis elbow, I know not necessarily carpal tunnel, but subcarpal tunnel syndromes, or like trigger finger, things like that, your forearms are probably pretty tight and they probably need to be relaxed. Men in particular, I know this is, forearms get really, really tight, so this should be a little beneficial. We're going to go through a couple of exercises. From here, let's go ahead and bring those fingers towards the earth, and once again, just pressing that hand, just bringing those fingers. They're in the direction of the earth, but they're moving towards, towards the forearm, towards the bottom part of the arm. So you're probably feeling this a little bit in a different spot of the forearm. Again, all we're doing is breathing, just bringing some movement. When you're ready, let's go ahead and release. Both hands come up. This time we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So we're going to first have the right fingers pressing up towards the sky, and then gently pressing that hand back. When you're ready, fingers are now going to be towards the earth. Let's go ahead and release the hands. Let's take both hands and let's just make some circles with the wrists. And then starting to move in the opposite direction. To me, our wrists and our toes are similar in the way that they really take a lot of pressure. We put a lot on them and we don't ever really target them so much. So this practice, like I said, it's going to be a lot of a wrist emphasis. Let's go ahead and bring the hands back to the practice, back to our mat. And when you're ready, you're either going to stay right where you are, or otherwise on your exhale, let's start bringing that torso towards that top knee. Again, you're going to come to the space where you start to feel sensation, and then from there, you're going to back off. And on your next exhale, perhaps you fold just a little bit deeper. Again, just a maybe. Unclenching the jaw, relaxing the teeth. And we'll be here for just a few more breaths. When you're ready, beginning to bring the torso back up. We're going to begin by bringing that right leg back to that neutral position. And let's go ahead and bring the left leg back as well. Again, maybe just pedaling out the feet here if that feels good to you. If it feels better to lean back on the hands and windshield wiper the knees, please feel free to do that as well. When you're ready, finding some stillness, we're going to set up for the opposite side. So this time we're going to take the right heel and bring the right heel towards the left hip. And then again, just maybe readjusting the props here, maybe keeping this leg extended, or perhaps we're going to bend that left knee, bring that left heel towards the right hip. And just as we did on the first side, we're going to go through a couple more wrist stretches here. So this time, let's bring the hands out, and we're going to make some fists. And once we make those fists, let's go ahead and turn our thumbs up towards the sky. From here, let's go ahead and tip the thumbs down towards the earth. We're going to bring those thumbs back up. Thumbs are going to meet towards one another now. Knuckles are towards the ground beneath you. And when you're ready, let's go ahead and just bend those knuckles down. So just different stretches here. I'm thinking about that movie again. I love that movie. It's one of my favorites. I'm hoping some of you guys have figured it out. Otherwise, I'll give you some more ideas, some more quotes. Let's go ahead and bring those wrists back to center. Let's take those wrists and bring them up by our rib cage. And then from here, let's just bring the elbows down. I'm trying to think of what quote would be a good one that wouldn't totally give it away. The one that's in my head is such a giveaway. I don't want to give you that one. There's just so many of them. When you're ready, let's go ahead and bring those elbows back up, bring those arms out long in front of you. And again, once again, just maybe twisting the wrists, making some circles, whatever feels good to you. Maybe bringing the hands together, bringing the fingers and the palms away from you, whatever feels good. When you're ready, hands are going to come back to your sides. And again, if your practice is calling for it, on your exhale, just starting to allow the torso once again to move towards that top knee, using any props here that feel good to you. On your next exhale, perhaps you fold a little bit deeper. Allowing your natural breath just to guide you, continuing to guide you into this practice, into this posture. Again, whatever feels best for you and for your body. We'll be here for just a few more breaths. When you're ready, going at your own pace, gently bringing the torso back up. We're going to release that left leg and then the right. Once again, taking any movement that might feel good to you and to your practice. We're going to set up for our bridge pose next. So this is where that bolster is going to come in, not the bolster, the block, although if you have a bolster, that would be fabulous as well. Let's go ahead and grab a block. I'm going to have us all maybe start on level 1. Actually, I'm going to keep us in level 1. We're not going to go any further than that. There's 3 levels to a block. Level 1 is when it's just flat. Level 2 is up a little bit higher. Level 3 is the tallest. Definitely not going to do level 3. Your practice may call for level 2, but if that's not something that you usually do, again, I'd rather you just stay at a level 1. I'll be using level 1 for my practice. Let's go ahead, have the feet about hip distance apart. We're just going to lift our hips, bring our hips a little closer towards those heels, and then we're just going to gradually lay all the way down. From here, let's go ahead and lift those hips up towards the sky and take that block and just place it underneath the hips. And I want you to make sure that it feels good for you and for your practice. We want to avoid the very lower back, the small of the back. That's just going to cause some damage. We definitely don't want to do that. But again, don't feel like, oh, this is exactly where it's supposed to be, this is uncomfortable. Bring it to a space that feels really comfortable for you. And then from here, let's go ahead and maybe just bring our arms to our sides, or if you prefer, let's go ahead and bring the hands behind us. Arms are nice and long. This will offer that additional shoulder stretch. Now, if this is too much for your shoulders, but you do want to get the shoulder stretch, instead of having both of the arms long behind you, maybe just bend that right elbow and then just allow those right fingers to rest near or next to or underneath that left elbow. That'll alleviate some of the pressure. On your next exhale, perhaps you soften the belly a little bit more, bringing the navel towards the spine. And then from here, what I'd like you to do, if your practice is calling for it, allow that right heel just to drag along towards the top of the mat. We're extending that right leg long, but that right heel is on the earth.
we're doing is we're targeting the front of the hip joint here. This is definitely going to come in handy as we progress a little further into our practice tonight. Now you can either keep those right toes where they are, which is most likely pointing towards the sky. Otherwise, maybe allow the right toes to fall towards the right corner of the mat. If you allow those toes to fall towards the right, let's go ahead and bring those toes back up. And then from here, let's go ahead and bring that right foot to meet the left. From here, if you have that right elbow bent, let's go ahead and extend that arm long. And now go ahead and bend the left elbow, allowing the left fingers to place near or on the right elbow. From here, let's extend that left leg long, left heel stays on the earth. Either leaving the toes where they are or allowing those toes to fall towards the left corner of the mat. If you let those toes fall to the left, let's go ahead and bring them back up to center. Bend that left knee, bring that left foot forward. Let's release that left hand, and we'll bring both of the arms down to the sides of the body. Whenever you're ready, going at your own pace, let's lift those hips and remove that block. And then I want you to very gently bring those hips back down. From here, let's walk the feet to the sides of the mat, and we'll just gently windshield wiper the knees back and forth. Finding some stillness, walking the feet back towards one another. Again, maybe taking a moment to windshield wiper back and forth, maybe just once or twice. And then from here, let's go ahead and gently bring the knees towards the chest. You're going to figure out what feels really good to you here. It might be allowing the knees to fall towards the sides of the body. It might be having the knees closer together. Perhaps you're going to come into happy baby. Or perhaps you're going to start to make some circles with the knees. Whatever feels best for you. We'll be here for just a few breaths. And if you are making circles, just going in the opposite direction, please. When you're ready, feet are going to come back down to the earth. You're going to roll over to your side and then just gently bring yourself up. We're going to all come into our tabletop position. This is going to be a great opportunity if you have that cushion or if you have a blanket. We're going to be in our tabletop position for quite a while, or at least we'll be on our knees for quite a while. So go ahead and bring that cushion forward. You do want to make sure that your block is now towards the top of your mat because we're going to need it there in just a little bit. And once you come into your tabletop position, let's just gently start to take some cat-cows here. Starting off nice and shallow, taking any organic movement that feels good to you. And when you're ready, finding some stillness, we're going to introduce another wrist stretch here. What I want you to do is go ahead, press into your left hand, and then lift that right hand off of the mat. I want you to turn those fingers towards that right knee and then place that palm back down. Now, if this is too intense, please feel free to bring those fingers closer to that right knee, to whatever position is going to make that wrist feel like it's being stretched in the forearm and stuff, but not that it feels painful in any way. So just coming to whatever position feels most comfortable to you. And then we're just going to hang out here for, I was going to say a few minutes, but I don't want to scare you, for a couple of breaths. And sometimes it feels better just to have the neck at a neutral position here. If this at any time is too intense, go ahead and bring those hips up towards the front of the mat, the top of the mat. It's going to alleviate some of that pressure. And then additionally, if you want to add just a little tiny bit more pressure, just bring those hips back. And that means very slightly, just a minuscule amount. Remembering to breathe. Let's go to press into that left hand. Peel that right hand off of the earth. Bring that right hand back to tabletop. And just go ahead and take a cat-cow. Maybe take two and we'll do the other side before we set up for our dragon pose. So there's another scene in the movie, and in this scene, the girl is sitting in her kitchen, and she's like, okay,
if I make this basket, that means I should call. That's fate telling me to call him. Go ahead, lift that left hand off of the earth, bring the left palm back down, just setting it for the opposite side. And then of course she misses the basket. And then she says, okay, 2 out of 3. And then she proceeds to miss those baskets as well. And she's like, wait, did make a basket mean call him or did it not mean not call him? And then she picks up the phone and she starts calling him. And then she leaves a message. She just starts talking into the phone because somebody answers. And it's really funny. And then it goes to a scene where it is totally not the guy. It's another guy. He's like, I don't know who you're calling, lady, but I'll be right over. Oh, it's so great. Maybe for just a few more breaths. When you're ready, let's go ahead, press into that right hand, peel that left hand up, come back to your tabletop, maybe take a cat-cow here. We're going to set up for that dragon pose. I want you again to have that block somewhere close to you, so just so this is the top of the mat. When you're ready, let's go ahead and take that right foot, and bring that right foot up towards the top of the mat. We're going to stack that right knee over the right ankle. And once you're here, let's go ahead on the inhale, bring the hands all the way up. Now, if this is too much for you and you have those blocks, you can always have your hands on the blocks as well. Always an option, okay? So I want you to do what feels best for you and for your practice tonight. From here, let's bring our hands to the top of the thigh. As you exhale, maybe just press into that right knee just a little bit. Remembering to breathe. On your next inhale, coming all the way back up into that low lunge. And then from here, let's come into our prayer hands. Taking an inhale. On your exhale, maybe twisting towards the right. If you feel like you want to go a little bit further, you can bring the heart towards the thumbs, or you can open the arms, whatever feels best for your practice. Opening the arms, definitely going to add on some additional shoulder work. And if the arms are open, let's go ahead and come back to prayer position. And then we'll untwist the torso, bring the hands down. That left hand's either going to land on the earth or it's going to land on a block. So whatever feels best for you. And on your exhale, let's bring that right hand all the way up. Now again, we're adding on the shoulders here. If this is too much for your shoulder, go ahead and just take a bind here. Always an option. We're just going to be here for a couple of breaths. When you're ready, let's go ahead and bring that right hand down. We're going to walk our right foot over towards the right side of the mat. And then from here, let's go ahead and maybe take that block and just place it underneath our torso, right in line with that right arch. And just bring your hands, you can't see, unfortunately, so I'm going to lean back just so you can, but your hands are going to be there, just stacked underneath the shoulders. And this might be enough for you. So I want you to just maybe just hang out here for a bit. In a couple of breaths, I'm going to introduce a couple of more movements. And maybe you start to approach those movements, or maybe you don't. Maybe you decide, no, that's definitely not something I want to do. And I want you to honor your body. That's what you're here for. Now maybe you're going to stay here, or maybe that right knee starts to wing out towards the outside of the mat. I want to remind you, you can always have that block on the highest setting. Additionally, you could also have no block here. It's whatever feels best for you. And maybe you want to stay here. Maybe you want to start moving in the direction of forearms. Forearms can come down to the block. Forearms can come down to the earth. You can always bring that knee back up. Whatever feels best for you. We're going to be here for just a couple more breaths. If you're on your forearms, let's go ahead and come back up to our hands. If you winged that knee out, let's go ahead and bring that knee back in. We're going to walk that foot back over to the center of the mat, just removing that block. When you're ready, let's go ahead and bring that right knee back to meet the left. Maybe go through a cat-cow or two here. When you're ready, we're setting up for the opposite side. Let's go ahead and bring that left foot up. When you're ready, coming all the way up into your low lunge, your low crescent lunge. Now additionally, I should have offered this in the first slide, so I apologize. But if you wanted to do a shoulder stretch here, you could also take a back bend. You can bring the palms together behind the body. Maybe point your fingers are out, maybe they're not. Taking an inhale on the exhale. Maybe just finding a back bend. And if you chose to take that back bend, let's go ahead and bring yourself back up to our more traditional low lunge. When you're ready, let's bring the hands to the top of the thigh as you exhale, just pressing into that left knee. On your inhale, coming back to your low lunge. As you exhale, prayer hands come down, twisting to the left. If you want to deepen that twist, once again, either opening the arms or perhaps just bringing the heart closer to the thumbs. Untwisting the torso, bringing those hands down. The right hand either comes to a block or comes to the mat, and left hand comes up, or you take the bind, whichever your practice is calling for. When you're ready, let's go ahead and bring that left hand down. We're gonna walk that left foot over to the left side of the mat. And again, maybe bringing that block back here. And if you'd like to go ahead and wing that knee out, feel free to do so. There's also a talking mime in the movie. I know some of you know it. Some of you are like, I have no idea what movie she's talking about. But some of you know. It's so good. It's the perfect 90s movie. Perfect. Oh my goodness, it's so good. Another character, a main character, is building a super train. That's his life work. That's what everything is about. Which is interesting because now we have the light rail that's coming. If you want to come down to your forearms, please feel free to do that as well. And the movie takes place in Seattle, if you haven't figured it out yet. So many good scenes. Here are just another couple of breaths. If you're on your forearms, coming back up to your hands. Starting to walk that left foot back in. When you're ready, bring that left knee back to meet the right. And go ahead, take a cat-cow, maybe wag the tail, maybe make some circles, anything that feels good to you. We're getting ready to wind down into our final pose, our most important pose. So just taking any organic movement that feels good to you into your practice. I don't know about you, but I feel awesome after this practice. My goodness, I feel like my lower back feels really good. It's been really awesome. So I hope you do too. When you're ready, let's go ahead, come back down to our bottom. We're going to set up for our final pose, our Shavasana. So coming to whatever position feels most comfortable to you, and laying all the way down. Coming back to your intention. Coming back to this beautiful gift of breath, this beautiful gift of life. And slowly bringing some movement back to your fingers and to your toes. It's always an honor, a blessing, a joy, and a privilege to guide you in your yoga journey. And the light of me honors the light in you, my friends. Namaste. Okay, my final clue into this wonderful movie, one of my favorites, the line that makes us all swoon is, I was just nowhere near your neighborhood. If you know it, tell me. I want to know that you know it. Give me a shout out on Instagram or something on at Rooted in Love Yoga, and let me know if you know what movie it is, because it's